measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If Earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken. We just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and vegs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat Earth king of rhyme.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Neil, Adam, Wandek, and a whole bunch of people in the Flipside Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
How are you?
Hey! Hello, everybody.
Hello. It's been a solid week of working absolutely non-stop, flat-out editing chapters of Measured Flat, my book, which will be out hopefully in the next week or so. It'll be passed off to the publisher in the next 2 to 3 days, I would hope. So, other than today, my wife's been off for a week, and mainly because we've got a birthday in the family, but other than that, it's been to work non-stop on All Roads Lead to a Flat Earth, subtitle to my book, which will be coming out, as I say, in a couple of weeks' time, called Measured Flat by Nathan Oakley. And that particular book is done, and has been done for about a week or two now. We've just been going through it with a fine-tooth comb, making minor adjustments to all of the different chapters, and there was about less than half a dozen, let's just say, chapters that seemed like they'd had a bit more work than perhaps they should have done on a read through. So those chapters were set aside to have another go over, let's just call it. And that's what we've been doing today. So going over 2 of 5, I think it is, chapters that just need a little bit of extra work. And, or have had a little bit of extra work, I should say. Like, we're checking them now, having done that little bit of extra work. Making sure that everything's spell checked. Artwork's gone off to the publisher for the cover, that is. Pictures are all done in the right order. I can't think there's a great deal more to do other than, like I say, going through those last couple of chapters. I have suggested, much to my wife's disdain, that we read through it all again. We may or may not do that. I might just send it off to the publisher and rely on us having done a good job on the 9 drafts that it's had so far and hope that, you know, any minor spelling errors will just have to be adjusted on the fly. But yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last week, if you're wondering why there's been no live streams. Also, I've been fitting new acoustic treatment, which is all done now, so you can see it behind me. You saw it in the intro already. I've got all of the panels. This entire room is now completely acoustically treated on every single surface. If you want to include carpet as acoustic treatment, which I don't, all of the other walls and ceiling are now completely covered with back-to-back panels with no gaps between them. So it's a fully treated space acoustically now, this room. And ironically, the one bit that's important visually right behind me was the last bit that got done, because it was the first bit initially done when I started the treatment about 5 years ago, or however many years ago I started buying these acoustic panels. Anyway, the last to be done was these, so they now look absolutely ace. I'm really delighted with how it looks, and hopefully starts a new era of flat earth debate broadcasting, as the book is literally a couple of days away. That's when the panels have arrived, so I can go out and do interviews or whatever with a slightly nicer looking backdrop. So it looks freaking ace. I am so chuffed. You all agree?
So is it safe to say that I will be able to purchase a book within the next 2 weeks?
Within a fortnight? Oh yeah, definitely. I'd imagine so.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, and pending something catastrophic happening, like some massive delay is caused, but I doubt it. I can't see any reason why. By let's say Monday, Tuesday of next week, I can't send the book off to the publisher. And at that point, it's kind of out of my hands. Like, yes, I can make minor corrections on the fly, but realistically, that's when it's kind of off your desk. You're like, there you go, I'm happy with it. It can be published. And then it's down to the publisher to just get it onto his website and provide me with a link that I can stick under the video. And then I'll start selling digital copies, should be almost immediately. And from what he explained to me initially, I mean, it is several years ago now, the affiliate program that he was developing at the time, this is again many years ago, had been tested. I remember him testing it and saying, look, I've got one of my authors using the affiliate program already and it works. It's been tested. Like, someone bought a link via the affiliate link and it immediately paid the affiliate. So the system works. It's all tested and done. So don't worry about anything in that regard. So when I come and actually put it out, I'll put it out in a press release, but I'll be saying to people who potentially want to interview me about Measured Flat, All Roads Lead to a Flat Earth, that the press release will indicate that if you can enter an email address on the website that the book will go live on, you can become an affiliate. You know, it is dead easy. You know, the publisher takes any affiliates through the process, and it is a very simple process to do it. You give your bank details, sign up with an email address, and then he'll give you a link that you put under a video that I'm presumably going to be talking to you on. And then if somebody clicks on the link, you get 30% because they've bought the book. In other words, you get the same as I do. So that's the affiliate program. I've got to think of a way of getting that into the most concise terminology as I possibly can, so that when it comes up on future videos moving forward, I can rattle it off like it's part of the intro. You know, if you can enter an email address, you can become an affiliate and earn 30% of the sale of the book. Something like that. Hopefully it'll get even more concise over time, so that people who are potentially thinking about having me on to talk about the book can get connected with an affiliate link, so that they can flog it when they're talking to me on a show that they're publicising anyway. And if they know that it's like 10 seconds work, they'll be more inclined to go, oh, right, so I'll get 30% of the book. Like, yeah, it's dead easy. Just fill out your email address on this website, and then I'll send them a link to the website. Anyway, that's it.
Nathan, you got to sell it better. You got to say, you want to make money off my book? Here's how you do it. Bam! Then go into your affiliate program, and you'll have it.
Do you want to make money off my book? You can, with an affiliate link.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, I'll bosh it out. My enthusiasm level for the press release will increase when it's ready. Like, I'm talking in very hushed tones about it because it doesn't exist. Like, my enthusiasm level for something that I've physically got to sell will increase tenfold when it's an actual product. So I've got the previous mock-up. So once we finished the 9th draft, I just printed it off. So I've got a physical thing to hold, right? Well, in terms of having a book and actually having a product to sell, those two things are different. Well, once I've got a physical product, initially it won't even be a physical product. It'll be digital only initially, right? Via my publicist's website. That's a lot of S's. And he will have the key to your availability in terms of reading the book. But that will come with the things that I've just described, like affiliate links. So from that perspective, it's like my enthusiasm for telling somebody that they can get the affiliate link and join the program will increase when I've got an actual product to attach to an affiliate link, and that's still a couple of days off. So as much as I'm excited and I've got a wry smile about the fact that it's literally days away, it's not a literal product yet. But you'll see my enthusiasm level increased by 1,000% once it's actually a physical product. At the moment, it's still in the process of having minor adjustments made, minor corrections made. And yeah, there's a few things that I talked about on the last update that have now been done, like the cover. That might need a little bit of tweaking. I haven't heard back anything negative from the publicist, so I'm assuming he's managed to work with the information I've given him thus far that Len helped me develop. So thanks, Len, if you're listening. So yeah, there's not a great deal else to do, but there is still little bits and bobs. It's at that point by the Guinness analogy where it's been sat on the bar. Now the guy's just very slowly pouring the last drops in, and you're like looking at him go, come on, just hand it over. That's where it's at. But it will be. You'll be supping on it soon, I absolutely promise you. Just a couple more drops in that pint glass. That's all it needs. It is ace, though. I'm super proud of it.
Because you've had 9 drafts, that means you could have 9 pints of draft Guinness.
9 types of draft. Boom, boom.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Can't wait for the book to come out. It's going to be great. It's been a long process, but I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. Well, it is fantastic. Can't wait to get all of it myself and have a read through.
It's been a long, interesting process too.
I got a synopsis which will form part of the press release, and I did actually read this out on the pre-show. Should I read it out again?
Yeah, it's ace, absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so this, like I say, this in full will go on the back of the book. So on the back cover, where on my back cover it just says synopsis, as in it wasn't written. Anyway, synopsis, all roads lead to flat Earth. Nathan Oakley opens the wardrobe door and invites you to venture through to experience his enigmatic journey discovering the facts and measurements used to create a globe-shaped world akin to Narnia, atop which many of us believe we lived. Witness this exciting journey through the back rooms and rabbit holes of sex, deathbed confessions, betrayal, illegal drug manufacturing, guns and angles, music and madness, myths and monsters, all told with the backdrop of heliocentric ancient history, culminating in one simple fact: the Earth was, is, and always will be measured flat. Okay.
Yeah, that last part there.
Awesome.
That last part there,
Absolutely.
nobody has.
We give it a clap.
So yeah, if you get a press release from me, you're like, that sounds familiar. It'll probably just be the little bit like from the middle. Witness this exciting journey through the back rooms of rabbit holes, of sex, deathbed confessions, betrayal, illegal drug manufacturing, guns and angles, music and madness, myths and monsters. Full stop.
See, that's all great, but when you finalize it with measured flat, this is something that other books do not have.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to read it just for that. Forget the measurements. I just want to read the gossip.
I've had a little bit.
Good. Oh, hey, Len. I was just praising you a second ago.
Yeah, I heard. Thank you. You're welcome as well. I've had a little bit mess around with a little bit of AI promo for the upcoming release. I know I pissed around with loads of stuff a very long time ago, but I'll send you some stuff later on tonight. I'm quite happy with
wicked.
some of it.
Very exciting. Thank you very much. It's all go in the Oakley household currently. And it might be the same next week. Depends on what we get done. Also, our cars hit the crapper. It's like a 25-year-old shitbox, and it's having all sorts of problems. So yesterday or the day before, we noticed there was a pipe hanging down, which turned out to be a handbrake-related cable or something of that affair. And they zip-tied it back onto the chassis, and then there was a load of grinding noises when I drove it around today. So that's got to go back in on Monday, along with various other hospital appointments that my wife's got and other various different things with the kids that we'll have to work around our crap box. But for that reason, there's a fair chance, given that we are still working on the book, that there'll be the same sort of arrangement as this week, next week, when it comes to shows. They will be sporadic, unfortunately. So, yeah, I know that there's people out there. Shout out to Tamara, also, who sent me a PayPal and was like, I realise that you still need to pay for things when you're not doing live shows, and encouraging people to give you money, which is ultimately what it's all about, right? As much as I'm enthusiastic about the book and the material, I do just want to flog it, right? I want to turn it into money so I can pay the mortgage with it. And I think Tamara appreciated that. So she sent me a message with money and was like, thank you very much for all you do. We're still in appreciation of your hard work, even though you're not running live shows this week. So I did appreciate that message. Thank you very much indeed, Tamara. I obviously passed it straight on to my wife, who is still working on the book, which has been the case for about 6 months now. So from that perspective, I've also run out of money. I'm hitting overdrafts at the moment, as much as it's amusing, because it'll hopefully resolve itself once I put a book on sale and go out and start promoting it, and that generates another revenue stream for me. So, you know, I am grateful for those of you out there who have been supporting myself and this family in general, because I send all my PayPals currently to my wife to cover her time so that she can actually afford to step away from doing overtime. She works for an electricity company. She does administration. But she typically would pick up lots of overtime, and where that would have been the case, she's been doing editing work for me. And I'm very grateful to her for it. But it means that I've been funneling money to her to keep her incentivized, nothing like cash to keep people motivated. And in this case with my wife, it has certainly done so. So we've been working on it right up until today, and may do so through next week. So my last update, which was, I don't know, 5 days ago, I said this should take no more than a week or two and then it'll be published. Well, that estimate still stands. You know, we said it would get it out by about Easter. It's just gone Easter about a week or whatever, 10 days ago. And yeah, within the next week or 10 days, it should come out. So I wouldn't have thought it would be any more than one more week. But like that pint sat on the bar, you know, you will have your lips around it eventually. The best things come to those who wait. If I could get my words out. Yeah, this will be more of an update show more than anything else. Like I say, the second she comes back from the sewing class, I'm going to end up cutting the show short. Although we did do a full-on hour in the pre-show. I paused the recording at several points because I was doing things. But yeah, we squeezed an hour of pre-show out. So if you're a member of my channel, become a member if you haven't done already. There will actually be some new material coming out today because I've run out. It's like there's been so many days taken off to do book work that I've churned through all of the older material that gets repeated on the second channel. So there's no more videos coming out of the second channel if you were enjoying the free material, not having to be a member by watching it on the second channel. Well, that isn't the case as of now because I've run out of material. So if you do want to join as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, then now is no better time because you'll actually get to see some unreleased material that won't get released for a fair old chunk of time because I'll now set the clock back and put the material that is members only, or this pre-show that was from today, on a schedule for, I don't know, 10 days time or 2 weeks time on the second channel, which, like I say, I've run through all of the material that was, you know, building up. But that's what it's there for, you know, it's there to keep material out while I'm potentially doing other things, in this case the book. So it's worked and served its purpose quite nicely. But yeah, there's only going to be new material coming out from the main channel for at least a couple of weeks while I build that backlog back up for people who don't want to become a paid member. But if you did, like I say, you want to become a paid member, now's the best time because you'll get to see new unreleased material as of today. Not that that wasn't the case anyway. Members always get the Uncut After Show much earlier than everybody else does. What else is there? What else can I update people on?
Well, it was a little bit of a break for us moderators not having a show in the afternoon because the people are just coming in, just, you know, troll. So they'll come in with their name all jumbled up like, I don't know who it is, you know, things like that. So it's like when I seen that there wasn't a show, I was like, oh, thank God, get a little break from this. And, you know, the minute you turn away to do something, you turn back and there it is. It's like they manage to know when you're not watching so they could spew their freaking trolly nonsense. It's like pathetic, really.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just got to try and pretend it's not happening. It's like the camera flashes. I was giving an analogy in the pre-show about the difference when I've been describing the violence that should potentially be inflicted, metaphorically speaking, on people who are rude to you. You know, they stop being pleasant people to interact with and just start insulting you because they need to project their pain. When a Cartesian grid's pointed out, perpendicularity, surface level, sea level, flight level, elevation angles, elevation, distance, any of the flat earth prerequisites that are met with, well, you don't understand how to speak, or you just don't understand language, or you just don't understand the violation of the axiom that you've just described to me that I'm now going to give back to you with an affirming the consequent fallacy. Those sorts of things, in my opinion, require one of two reactions. One, just disengage completely. And then it becomes like the celebrity who's almost completely indifferent to the flashing camera lights, by comparison to Bjork, who just turns around and punches the absolutely infuriating paparazzi member who's, in that particular instance, just welcomed her to Tokyo or wherever it was. Well, that person got a punch in the mouth because they'd been harassing the ever-living daylights out of Bjork for days and days and days on end. Well, the difference is stark. One is an indifference that, from the onlooker's point of view, they just see the flashing bulbs. They don't feel the searing pain in your eyeballs. right? So it is difficult. It's easier said than done. But I'm suggesting in the pre-show that, you can explain verbally that comparison. That is to say that because you've become a person that I'd rather not punch in the mouth, metaphorically speaking, I'd rather just do the other thing, which is just disengage from you. It's like, you're not worth our time. If you need to delude yourself that a term like perpendicular isn't going to adhere to its own axiomatic principle that's useful because you've got a sphere belief, then feel free. You do that. Just do it away from me. Telling me that because you need to project your pain, I'm stupid because I understand the principle that's applied to Earth's planar surface when measuring it, isn't going to be a reason that I shouldn't feel the need to punch you in the face when you start insulting me. It should be a reason to disengage and just get on with what I'm doing. It's like, you want to believe perpendicular moves to the centre of a sphere. Okay, feel free. It doesn't, but I'm not going to tell you it doesn't. Why would I need to? You need to delude yourselves. I don't need to engage in that delusion because it will be inconsequential. The verbalization, the discussion thereof, makes no difference to the actual axiom and its applicable nature. That will never change. Earth will be measured flat with things like perpendicularity for altitude, whether you like it or not. If we argue about it, it's not going to change what it is. Like two-dimensional directionality on a compass. You can say, well, actually, it's adhering to magnetic field lines, therefore it's referencing bent. Like, you level the tool. Why would I explain this to you, though? You don't need me to explain how level a compass is. It is just leveled. Well, it doesn't matter if I tell you that or not, though, does it? The compass will still remain principally functional in the way it's always been, regardless of my verbalization of that fact, or in the reality that we face as flat earthers, the argument that you feel to bring to my doorstep whilst telling me I'm stupid. I don't feel the need to engage with that. The more time elapses, the more apathetic I feel to these people in their cognitive pain. Enjoy it over there, away from me. I don't care.
Well, that's the rule of thumb we have in chat. We don't even respond to them. We don't say nothing. We don't acknowledge. Just time them out and move on. Don't even mention their names. Don't even mention what's said. Now, that's not for everybody. If somebody comes in, they have questions, we're more than happy to answer your questions. But you got to ask nicely. Like Jack Nicholson said to Tom Cruise in A Few Good Men, but you got to ask me nicely.
Yeah, that's basically it. It's whether or not you're a pleasant person. At the moment, for 10 years, it felt like there was a necessity to debate about this stuff. That was, now I can reflect upon this, my ignorance. And me projecting my pain, that's my ignorance, onto others as I argued with them. Now, it becomes inconsequential, literally, if I convince you, because it's not about your comprehension. Earth measurements are utterly inconsequential to anybody's comprehension of them, unless they're putting them into practical application. Now, when Earth measurements are put into practical application, you can say, as an apology, it's just easier to measure it flat. It's just measured flat. That's it. Now, I don't have to verbalise it, you don't have to understand it, so why are we having this discussion? Then it just boils down to, well, let's assess the discussion for its social value. Is it a valuable interaction? Am I enjoying interacting with you? No, I would rather break your nose. You rude, insolent, fart-sniffing dweeb that values this boring shit above social interaction. Okay, take your information that you value in contradiction of axiomatic principles of flat earth measurements over there, away from me. What's that? That makes you want to interact with me even more? It makes me want to detach from you even more, though. That's the vicious cycle of go away from me, you creepy, stalking dweeb, versus, no, I need to explain to you that a compass is flat. It is flat. I don't have to explain it to you. It doesn't matter if you understand it or not. It is what it is. Earth's measured flat. Like it or lump it. If you lump it somewhere else, though. Not around me. Especially not while your need to project that pain onto me is prevalent in your own bloodstream. While you've got those chemicals floating around, piss off. You're an unpleasant person to be around, so get lost.
You had somebody in chat say, I guess, that he wouldn't lead off with sex. I'm like, but why not? That's the journey that the show took. You can't hide from it. These things happen on the show called Flat Earth Debate.
But you wouldn't lead off with sex? I mean, it depends how it's being referenced. So in my book, I talk about people's pain being projected onto me with a need to play pornography on my live streams whilst measuring flat Earth elevation angles to the sun for a 24-hour period. Sound familiar? Yeah, that's right. I did tracking the sun on a flat Earth while we measured zenith, a solar noon, for various locations across Earth's plane. Now, there are people out there that found measuring Earth flat so offensive that they needed to splice people having sex into my live stream while we measured Earth flat. Now, you may not like those facts, but the journey of discovery that leads me to say you are a deeply unpleasant person, go away, are the same emotions going through that person's blood about me when they felt the need to play people having sex on my show because we measured Earth flat. Now, those are just the facts. Now, you might say, oh, well, I wouldn't lead with your synopsis being about sex. Well, I can't help that a humble YouTube videographer had to endure editing out sex from his live stream about measuring Earth flat with the sun. I can't help that. But that is the journey I've taken. And I absolutely assure you of one simple fact. Sex sells. My book's sexy. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, I remember those days of porn bombing. I wasn't on the panel at the time. I was just a listener. But that happened quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm explaining it in a chapter that explains that you've got dweebs versus hippies, conspiratards, hippies, versus fart-sniffing, low-value, ineffectual males who feel the need to splice porn into another man's live stream to express their pain about how flat Earth is being discussed. Now, back then, we weren't even really discussing flat Earth. We were saying Earth's not a sphere. We didn't know it would get labelled 10 years later as being an an anti-globe believer. We thought, sincerely, we were flat earthers when we measured Earth flat with elevation angles to see if an azimuthal equidistant North Pole-centric globe projection derived from a sphericity that's created with an R value measured from a flat Earth with polar-eccentric latitude lines. Now, we didn't know that concise summary meant that all roads led to a flat Earth. We just thought showing that the Earth wasn't a ball was sufficient to make people believe that it was flat. Now we know there's no belief required, it's just measured that way. Flat Earth, that is. But it doesn't change that people found it so painful that they felt that they needed to shut my channel down with sex. And there's also quite a lot of generalised sex amongst the people that I interacted with whilst going through this road of discovery that led me to the conclusion that it makes no difference what I say about this subject, Earth's measured flat regardless. That road had people having sex along the paths in the bushes. Now, I can't help that, but that is the road of the journey of discovery. It includes people and their stories. Sex is something people do, and I've written about it, when it's directly tied to the subject matter at hand. In this case, how literal wankers dealing with sex poisoned the waters of flat Earth measurements, whilst having other dicks who are prepared to play sex on my flat Earth measurement streams, suggesting that flat Earth, actually anti-globism, was muddying the waters of 9/11 truth. Now, these are the things you can read about in All Roads Lead to a Flat Earth. That's my book, Measured Flat, by Nathan Oakley. And I assure you, it's a sex-filled journey, because life is full of sex. And this subject, when boiled down in the way I boil it down, is a sexy subject. Now, there's plenty of boring shite, fart-sniffing nonsense about angle measurements that goes along with the intersection of the sex that people find so offensive because it defies their religious belief in a sphere. And then they introduce sex into the story. That's not by my volition. I just wanted to talk about how flat Earth was. You, in your pain, made it sexy. I can't help that, but I can write about it.
Who would you say the target audience for the book is there, Nathan?
Again, it's pitched at all levels of audience. There's going to be people who find aspects of the book fascinating based on the historic account of Earth's sphericity being built upon the flat Earth measurements required to build that sphericity. Those historic accounts will fascinate some. Others just want the base, lowest of the lowbrow information about other people. Because that's Jeremy Kyle, tabloid news, whatever you want to call it. People find that appealing. Now, I have attempted to wrap my personal journey and story, which has got elements of sex, as that's the thing that's been brought up. There was other things on that list. It's just which one got the most attention immediately. Well, I wouldn't lead with sex. You have. Yeah? We are discussing it, right? Didn't mention myths and monsters now, did you? You said, I shouldn't. It's in the negative, but you can't but help highlight something, even if you're affirming in the negative how much you shouldn't talk about something. You're still talking about it. That's the thing about death and sex. It's hardwired. That's why it works. It's one of the things I also opened with the book. I was studying subliminal messaging, how the sex and death cell functions. And here we are experiencing it preemptively before I've actually got something to sell with the sex cell. From an advertising perspective, it's even got a title. The Sex Cell goes right alongside the death cell. That's why I also mentioned deathbed confessions. Something else that we've had in a community that's supposed to be about Earth measurement and geography. Nah, it's got deathbed confessions. Illegal drug manufacturing, sex, drugs, rock and roll. Where's the guns, Nathan? It's full of it. It's an absolutely outstanding story from every single perceivable angle it can be told from. Even the boring bits about Aristophanes and measuring boring-ass angles, the people who think that they can have your kids taken away, or my kids in this instance taken away, if I get that information wrong. I mean, that is the reality of this subject. To some dweeb, fart-sniffing, low-value males out there, if I call Aristophanes Cleomedes, suddenly it's worthy of having social services take my kids away. Those are the stakes for the boring, fart-sniffing bits, yeah? The boring shite. You, low-value, fart-sniffing males, I'm looking straight at you, you know who you are. Yeah? You value this information because you've invested in it. I find it boring. Find all of it boring. Rocket ships, I'm not 12 years old anymore. You're just boys. That's all you are. Sad little boys sniffing your own farts, telling yourself how valuable the information is about your rocket ships, going to sky vacuums, to a moon that's got a distance that's derived from a flat Earth radial value measurement. That's right. Earth's measured flat to give you your distance to the moon. People want to know about what Artemis is debunked with. Its own telemetry data. The trajectory is based on an orbital value that's derived from a flat Earth measurement. Where do you think you get orbital motion? You get it from deriving the motion from an R value for a sphere that's measured flat. That's where you get it from. An extrapolation that violates its own base measurement to acquire an R value. To turn a flat plane and an area of equal altitude, that's a circle, two-dimensional, into a sphere, violating the axiomatic principle of the measurement you took to create it. So you can extrapolate out orbital motion. Another thing that gets detailed in explicit and excruciating, boring detail in my book, so that you fart-sniffing dweebs can go straight to the chapter on gravity and go, I wonder if he's got it right. I'll have his kids off him. Meanwhile, the more interesting people, the people on the flat Earth side, let's be honest, the people I'm calling the hippies, yeah, they'll find the actual exciting bits of the story, the sexy bits, interesting, yeah? Now, I can't out what people find interesting in the various different aspects of the book, but there is plenty for all. You'll all find it interesting, from the fart-sniffing dweebs that's straight to the gravity section, to the people that want to know about their relationships, how they fell apart, the betrayals, the treachery, the stolen valour. I want to read about that. I don't care which or what you are interested in from my book. I know it's interesting. I know it's sexy. I know it's going to sell. I know you're going to want to buy a copy and read all about this stuff I'm gleefully regaling you with. Because it's all there in black and white to be enjoyed with pictures. And I'm sure it will definitely sell once it's released. Because people do want to hear about this story. They do want to hear it at multiple levels. Of fart-sniffing dweebery through to base-level lowbrow talk of sex, drugs and rock and roll.
Well, I'd rather see it through your eyes than the eyes of somebody who lost their deadbeat boyfriend.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I watch a bit of Taylor the Fiend. If I want to hear about spinsters that are past their best, I go and watch Taylor the Fiend. Shout out to Taylor the Fiend. My name's Molly and I can't hold down a boyfriend.
Hey, listen. Yeah, back then we were debunking a globe. But I've recently heard that if you debunk a globe, you ipso facto prove flat Earth. And I totally disagree.
But if you disprove dog, you ipso facto prove cat.
Exactly.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Unbelievable how stupid people get when they become treasonous, treacherous thieves. But anyway, no need to go down that path.
Parallel gravity is the cause of flat Earth, says Cleary. Is it Clearyisms now? Cleary? Yeah, it is Clearyisms. Why'd you change your name? I like Cleary. Anyway, Clearyism says parallel gravity is the cause of flat Earth. I don't know what parallel gravity is. Newtonian gravity is a downward vector perpendicular to a plane of reference. It's just the hijacking of weight. It's all Newtonian, out of date, 111 years of it being replaced by Einsteinian, bent pseudo-Riemannian space-time geometry, pseudo being the operative word, also based on three-dimensional Cartesian descriptions when visually explaining this made-up by Einstein dimension that is currently the rhetoric of gravity. All of which is flat Earth in terms of its prerequisites. Downward vectors are perpendicular to a plane. That's what Newtonian gravity is. If you want to know how that's debunked, just release some gas from your person and watch it dissipate in all directions and not go down, go boom boom, go splash splash. Gas doesn't go down.
What do you mean? I thought it goes in all directions. What are you, contradicting yourself?
It doesn't just go down. Do I need to qualify even with you? Fair enough, if you need that caveat. It doesn't just go down. But in an absolute sense, it only goes up. So gas, or gases, that we experience here on Earth's flat planar surface, that we, in this particular example, will be describing the altitude of gases, right? Its vector being upward. Now, why would I say such a thing? Well, because it's true. When you describe altitude, you're describing it perpendicular to a plane of reference measured from sea level. That's a flat Earth prerequisite to describe the altitude of these gases in their vector when they are created at the surface level. Surface level, you say? Yeah, that's right. Ground level. Ground level, you say? Yeah, like measured from sea level. Level, you say? Yeah, lots of levels that describe altitude for gases that are produced at ground level and then go up, away from the ground. Now, that isn't to say that the elastic collisions that gas experience means that some of them won't ultimately come down to go back up again, because that's what they will do as they dissipate, to spread out. That's what dissipate means, and fill the containment that they must be under to be at pressure. Now, if you want to believe that gas doesn't need containment to be under pressure, like you don't need a tyre around the rim to have pressure, you can just have it in a sphere shape arbitrarily. And rockets, for example, can travel in a trajectory that's derived from a flat Earth measurement for a flat Earth orbital motion in a fantasy world akin to Narnia, when you travel on a flat derivative of said R value that'll give you a distance when extrapolated based on a scalar given you by Huygens, when he arbitrarily decides that Venus has the same R value as Earth's flat measured R value, so that you can get the distance to the moon to fly around it, whilst measuring your altitude from sea level in miles. Now, you can believe that the rocket can traverse the high pressure gas and go through a sky vacuum to take a journey that requires Earth be measured flat, to violate the flat measurements to create a fanciful world where we're moving in an orbital motion, with a distance derived from a guess from a man called Huygens, who just decided that Venus was Earth's twin to give us those distances. You can believe that the rocket can traverse the high-pressure gas and the gas itself just hangs around. I mean, it's all right. We've got gravity. What, gas going down? No, back to the original point. Gas is created at ground level and goes up away from the ground. That's what it does. It spreads out to fill the containment, and it's under pressure, meaning it must be contained. But the rockets can go out. Oh, of course they can, yes. 12-year-old boys and their fantasies about Narnia going through the wardrobe doors into a sky vacuum. Go ahead.
Nathan, there's an Artemis, and it's sending back observations. Are you telling me you're going to deny those observations?
From a sky vacuum in violation of the second law of thermodynamics. If the sky was a vacuum, then the gas we are breathing at pressure would fill the space. If rockets can go into the space, so can the gas, which is travelling at a high velocity with elastic collisions. It's not bonded to Earth. It's not affected by an out-of-date gravity force of down. It's going up. Yeah? So no, there is no sky vacuum for rockets to traverse in an orbital motion that's mathematically dependent on Earth being measured flat to derive radial values, to superimpose them if your name's Huygens onto Venus, so we can scale the distance to the moon. No, those require flat Earth prerequisites. All roads lead to a flat Earth, including telemetry data for moon travel. Yeah, you'll need a flat Earth be measured for that. What's that? It can't be a flat Earth because it's going around a motion that's spherical. No, the motion that's spherical is derived from those flat Earth measurements. If your calculations are in violation of the measurements, they're wrong. We measure Earth flat to derive radial values and have this out-of-the-box thinking called heliocentric motion. It doesn't mean you can travel through the concepts that are violating the very measurements that create them. Earth's measured flat to create your ball faith, this fantasy story. And the scale comes from just guessing that a light is the same size as a flat measured Earth. That's Christian Huygens deriving a radial value from Earth's flat measurements and superimposing them onto Venus. That's it. That's where you get orbital motion. That's where you get your distance to the moon. From a flat plane. Like the altitude that you'll measure the rocket from, like I saw on one of the launches. I heard Simon Dan did a little reaction video. Oh, share your pain. Thank you for the advert. I was congratulated by total and utter indifference to Artemis. Yeah, I couldn't give a shit. It's measuring Earth flat with altitude. It's measuring its journey via elliptical motions called orbits that are derived from flat plane measurements. So like with anything that's suggested to reference Earth in any capacity, all roads, without exception, rocket trajectories included, lead to flat Earth measurements. In this case, radial derivation. Where'd you get your art? By measuring Earth flat. Doesn't matter if you use Aristophanes, doesn't matter if you use Al-Biruni, you'll still need a flat plane to measure. And you do. These are your stories, not mine. You require Earth to be flat. You violate your own flat measurements when you suggest that you can enter this fantasy world that rockets enter when they traverse the high-pressure gas you believe isn't under containment because an out-of-date force of gravity holds them here, downwards. No, have you never farted? Have you never experienced gas expanding in all directions, dissipating into the availability of volume? That's what the gas would do if that's where the rockets could go. Now, outer space is fake. Yeah, there is no outer space. Sky's not a vacuum. That's ludicrous. Like stupid shit that 12-year-old low-value males believe in.
Well, Nathan, like you say, all roads lead to flat Earth. I think it's even better than that. They all start at flat Earth. If you think about it, it all starts at flat Earth.
Yeah, but we're working backwards. We all started with a belief that the world was spherical. So all roads lead to the realisation that the belief in spherical roads were built on flat Earth measurement foundations. So for us, our road leads to flat. What Neil's saying is, to come to the conclusion you are justified in a belief that you're on a spherical surface requires the starting point be flat Earth measurements. Doesn't matter which way round you look at it. You're starting with sphere belief, which puts us into a weird cognitive variety of people that started with a premise that was violated by its own measurements, and then we've worked our way back to the flat Earth that was required. But Neil is correct. The starting point for all of these beliefs, like moon travel, come from flat Earth derived measurements of Earth's flat surface. That's where it all begins. That's why I don't care about being around these utterly infuriating, vile, despicable, low-value dweebs who value the information that, Al-Biruni measured Earth flat to get mountain heights with trig? Or that we've got flat Earth elevation angles from sticks and shadows with respect to a planar surface to derive radial values, to violate the base you've just measured flat, and have some out-of-the-box church-based rhetoric about heliocentric motion? It's absurd. It's a fantasy story. Only applicable to 12-year-old boys who never grew up. Yeah, another shout out to everyone who's been helping me. I'm really, really grateful to everyone who's been sending me PayPals over the last 6 months, because I don't think I'd have got the book done, given that at one point it had been thieved from me and I perceived to have nothing. It had just all been stolen. So from the depths of nothing, I've managed to scrape it all together. But for the fact that the wife helped me do it. Right? If it wasn't for Paula, I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now, delightfully regaling with how wonderful the book's going to be when it gets released in a few days or maybe a week's time. So, massive shout out to everybody who's kept her financially motivated by sending me PayPals, one of which, as I said in the pre-show, came from Tamara. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Because now we're at the end. I mean, it means I might not continue to give her my PayPals, my wife, that is. But I've had the means to do so because of the tremendous amount of support that I've had from people who are in the community that's been built on this channel over the last 10 years. So huge appreciation to everybody who's been supporting me and effectively and extensively supporting my family by doing so. So I really, really am grateful. The financial incentive isn't as high as I might make out when I'm like, I just want to flog the damn thing. I do, because I do want to keep bills paid, and I am struggling to. I'm not going to lie about that. As much as success breeds success, I know the book's going to fill that void. It is going to generate a revenue. So I'm delighted that that's the case. But as I've been saying to my wife while we've been doing it, it's about the journey, right? Some of the stories, as you listen to them, you've got to understand that those periods of time were enjoyed for what they were in the moment. Like, there isn't a second of my life that I would look back on if I was hit by a bus tomorrow and go, oh, God, I wish I hadn't have done that. No regrets. Everything's wonderful because I've enjoyed life for the moment that it offers. So the perspective or potential money that the book might bring in is almost inconsequential now we're at the end of the process, because the process itself has been enjoyable. It's had its ups and downs, but that kind of lends to the overall product that's been produced. If it wasn't for the ups and downs, the sex, the drugs, the rock and roll, it wouldn't be an exciting story and it wouldn't sell. So when you're in those times, sometimes when you're at the trough of a wave, in my case currently it's financial, but that's probably the least concerning of all troughs that you can be in. There are far worse troughs to find yourself in. But as long as the life that's presented to you in the moment is enjoyable, that's all that really matters. That's why I'm trying to advise my panel at the moment that walk away from the dweebs. It's like they're available for assessment rather than convincing. It's like, do you have value to me if you're an unpleasant person? The answer is no. We're only limited by the time that we have here. The money is inconsequential. We can't take it with us when we die. So what do you actually have of value? The time itself, the moment itself, this moment right now, right? Now, there's been a series of moments that have been very interesting that you can read about in my book, and I'm delighted in a way that there's been its tumultuous up and down path, because that's what offers excitement to wrap the boring stuff around, to wrap the, frankly, tedious description of measuring Earth's flat surface to create sphericity for us to have formerly, past tense, believed in. If there isn't any sex, drugs and rock and roll to wrap around that, you've just got logic. Well, logic never wins an argument. You can be completely logically flawless and it won't convince people. People believe things based on what their heart tells them. And stories about people and their journeys are what people are interested in. Now, I'm fortunate that I've got the ability, after whatever it is, 12 years of experience in Flat Earth, to wrap my interesting stories around the relevant data. And hopefully I haven't balanced it badly where there's too much factual tedium in the book that someone falls asleep whilst reading it. And when, as we've been going through it, we've identified certain times in the book where that does happen, where you go, oh my God, this is getting really heavy and boring. I've identified it and gone, to you, the reader, if you're finding this boring, it is boring, and intentionally so. The information about a globe Earth is made complex and cognitively expensive, so the average Joe who realises it doesn't really have any financial or general benefit to them won't invest in it. Not financially, but mentally. Too cognitively expensive. Other men have figured it out. I don't need to concern myself about it. There's plenty of astrophysicists from bands like D-Ream and shit like that. Meanwhile, you don't have to think about it. So therefore, when I detail it, having learnt about it, and I didn't find it interesting or want to learn about it, I've highlighted where, yeah, this is boring. But don't worry, get to the end and you'll appreciate just how robbed you have been of your own senses. Go ahead, Neil.
Well, I want to piggyback that because, yeah, they dazzled us with bullshit when it was just so simple as to it's just measured that way. And it always has been. But they have freaking confused it so much that you're right. Like somebody else figured it out. I'm just going to follow along consensus rules or it's a globe.
Shout out to Price of Adam for the super chat. Says, I'm excited to learn if globers can read.
Those.
I guess we'll find out.
Mic check.
Hey, we hear you. That chocolate.
What's up, guys? What's going on?
Guy, perpendicular to a plane.
Still? Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Been working very, very hard. So there's been no live streams for about last week as a result. How are you?
I'm all right. Doing the same. Working my ass off. Good to see you back.
Good to hear. Yeah, same here. I can relate. Not that I'm not normally working my ass off, but when there's a detachment from what you typically do and people see, that's live streams for me. There's an assumption that you're not doing anything or that you're not working. So Neil summed it up the other day and he's like, you've had a day off from your work to do work? Well, yeah, that's basically it. Right, we've got about...
Sometimes, man.
Say again?
That's how it goes sometimes, though. It sucks. But you're here, so that's good.
Yeah, I'm here. Just very poor. Hopefully that'll be resolved in the not too distant future with a new revenue stream, which I'm delighted about. So the book will come out in the next week or so. Hopefully you'll buy a copy.
Indeed.
All right, got about 5 minutes left on this live stream, and then my wife and I will be back at the grindstone, polishing out the last edges of a couple of chapters. Do you all miss the live streams?
Happy,
we're glad to be back on.
Clover.
Yeah, I'll be honest, it is flattering when I get tons of messages from people who recognise their, not dependence, but their joy at having a regular live stream come out. And when it doesn't, people really do notice. I've had quite a few messages from people. Thank you very much for all your messages. I'm not dead. It's one of the things that people assume. Are you okay? You're like, yeah, I'm all right. Just writing a book. It's all good.
Yeah, there was people saying, you see, we told you Nathan was going to get shut down for being so mean to Phil Bell. I said, oh, yeah, really? They took him off YouTube, did they?
Phil's
Does go around.
is telling us that we're singing out of tune with metaphors. He's saying that he feels the need to correct us. It's like nobody asked you for your correction. Nobody's employing you as a piano tutor, like metaphor. In fact, the reason you're here telling us we're out of tune is because you're on your deathbed trying to justify your own existence. My attitude, hurry up and die. What's that? You think that me saying you, who have injected yourself into my life without me asking, shouldn't be suggested to hurry up and die? Don't inject yourself into my life and tell me I'm out of tune by metaphor, and you won't be told to hurry up and die. It is just that simple. Now, you feel that that's unreasonable. Oh, really? I have been told for about 12 straight years that I should jump off tall buildings to prove a perpendicular vector with respect to a plane of reference. That's a suggestion of a 111-year out-of-date gravity. That is to say, I am suggested that I would be better off removing myself from this plane of reference. Or that I should be quite literally drinking bleach, having my testicles removed, or having my children that I fathered removed from my presence. So me telling a man who's very old people die, that he should hurry up about it when he's interjecting his values and opinions onto another man's life that hasn't asked for it, is kind of par for the course. Don't inject yourself abruptly into other people's lives that don't want you in their lives, and you won't get told to sod off and die. Now me, I'm not injecting myself into anybody's lives that doesn't want it. You don't have to watch my videos. I'm here to make a career as a YouTuber, soon to be author. That doesn't mean that I'm injecting myself into your life you don't have to watch. But these people come along to us proactively and insert themselves into our lives. I haven't asked for Phil Bell's presence, and I don't care about it. But when I'm getting it without asking for it, I'll just say it how it is. I'd rather you weren't around me. What's that, you're dying? Good. Hurry up about it, then I won't have to endure your nonsense. You're old, you'll die. We all will. Me, I won't have any regrets. I won't be contacting some old wanker on my deathbed telling him how right I am, telling him how I need to educate him in his use of melody. I won't be doing that. Like I say, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, I wouldn't have it flash before my mind that I need to get in touch with Simon Dan and tell him how wrong he is. No, I'd go, thank you, Jesus, for giving me the opportunity. Life has been frickin' awesome. I am so, so privileged. Not, I know, I'm going to go and tell Phil Bell how right I am. Now, that's a man who questions his own validity here on Earth's planar surface. And to project his own concerns about the validity of his own existence, he's decided that that is best served at the door of flat earthers. No, I'm just not going to tolerate it. No, I don't want to be around you. What's that? You soon won't be around us? Good. Jolly good. Let's see how quickly that can occur. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Meanwhile, things are looking rosy for me, not you. Do I care? No, not in the slightest. If you want me to care about you, be nice. It's just that simple, yeah? People who are unpleasant, deeply, deeply unpleasant, they're not going to get my commiserations when they're on their deathbed. I spit on your grave. I hope that's absolutely clear. And my sentiment is the same for all of you. You low-value males. Phil Bell's one of them. He's a fart-sniffing dweeb, a low-value male, a 12-year-old trapped in a 70-year-old's body, who believes in rocket ships going to sky vacuums, who denies axioms, who feels that he is justified forcing his beliefs onto others. That's called zealotry. And I don't want to be around those people. And when we're pleasantly surprised to find that they'll soon toddle off this mortal coil, I bid you adieu. Bye-bye. Farewell. Adios. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. You shouldn't, but do, have any regrets. Yeah? I can't regret being poor. I can only thank our Lord and Saviour for the people around me, supporting me to the point where I can just about get by and enjoy the moments of life and what they have to offer. Now, I get it. You feel offended. You feel that us talking about how spherical Earth will be requiring flat Earth measurements for is an offence to your ears. Don't listen. Nobody's forcing you to. Me and my words, as disclaimed at the beginning of this live show, won't have any influence on how flat Earth is or how spherically the flat Earth measurements will derive your belief. This on screen is the derivation of a flat plane measurement of angle to Polaris, wrapped around a plane like a protractor. That's the creation of your ball. Its origins are factual. They are dependent on Earth being measured planar. Earth will be and is measured flat for this shit you see on screen. Let's just say that again. This shit you low-value 12-year-old boys still believe in. And feel it's justified to say I should have social service take my kids away. That's the stakes. This shit versus my time with my children. And you wonder why I value your demise. Don't. Understand that we have been surrounded by very low value, dweeb, fart-sniffing, nasally wankers who would sooner watch us have our kids taken away than recognise the flat earth prerequisites on screen in this shit you all find so valuable.
Wasn't there a terminology back in the day where people would say, drop dead? What's the difference? Now, what happened was that you're supposed to know that the guy's actually dying of cancer. Like, you're supposed to have that foreknowledge and not, like, attack him like that because, all he did was try to correct us because he's been a teacher for 70 years. And when he hears somebody out of tune, he feels the need to come in and correct that person that's out of tune.
If I wanted his opinion, I'd beat it out of him.
I'm saying, everybody used to say drop dead. It was no big deal. But now the way you phrase it, a lot of people are making a real big deal out of it and threatening to get your channel taken down. And you'll see when it happens and you'll know where it came from. We have the authorities on it.
Yeah, that was something else I had. Yeah, it's not the first time. There was a point in my YouTube career where I had literally dozens of copyright strikes and were taking false accusing businesses to court to reinstate the ability to live stream on this channel. This channel has had in excess of 20 copyright strikes against it, all simultaneously. Not like, here's 3, then 5. No, all at once. I'm still here. Yeah, I got written about too in my book. Yeah, the turmoil that this channel's faced, where people like you want to find an angle, yeah, to remove me saying Earth's measured flat from your ear holes. That's what you really want. What, me saying an old man's gonna die? You think that'll get me shut down? Old men die, little boys. That's what old men do. Phil Bell's no exception. He will die. You don't like that? That's life, you bunch of cretins. It results in death. You don't like that? It's hardwired. Yeah? Like when I did my synopsis talking about deathbed confessions. Those are the reality of living. So enjoy it. Now, if your enjoyment level is derived from telling others that they need to hear how you can teach them, no. I don't need Phil to tell me how planar and perpendicular altitude is. I don't need Phil to tell me about how surface level as depicted on screen is flat, how parallel as depicted on screen eye level is, how flat Earth must be measured for you overgrown 12-year-old boys to think Earth curves. I don't need anybody to educate me in this. And the verbalization of the facts on screen, that would be surface level. See it? It's labelled. I don't have to read it out, and I don't need to hear some old dying twat tell me I'm out of tune when I point it out. I didn't ask him for his opinion. I don't value his company. I find him vile. A vile, low-value, Yorkshire pudding-faced old man. That's what he is. Now, you think that's going to get me shut down? No, he is an old, dying wanker who feels that he's got the right in death to subject me to his boring shit he thinks he's right about. No, death doesn't afford you that, Phil, you delusional old twat. But what you are doing is trying to project your pain in death onto me, and I won't have it. No, I'll wish out of mercy you die quickly. That's it. That's what you'll get from me. Be pleasant in future, yeah? Build up rapport with people before you so arrogantly decide that you're in a position to educate them. Nobody asked you for anything. At all. And the flat measurements of Earth's surface aren't dependent on you verbalising it to me. They're flat. It's labelled. Do you see it? Surface level, Phil. As you lie dying, Earth will still require a flat planar surface be measured for your dumbass belief you'll take to your grave. You want my pity? You will not have it, sir.
Well, he thinks that satellites are measuring the Earth. As he says, it doesn't. To him, he's like, I'm a physicist, not an ancient historian. I'm concerned with what's happening now and the way things work. Of course, I'm interested in how humans came across the evidence we rely on in physics and chemistry, but it doesn't matter to me who first measured the size of Earth. It matters that the satellites among
But just
the
before
other
you carry on,
hundreds of
Neil,
mapping satellites are doing it now.
sorry to interrupt, Neil. Just out of interest, simple yes or no question. Did you ask for this information to be imparted on you by a dying old man? Did you ask for this?
No, but he said, if you're wondering, I'm 70 years old and I would like to set you back.
No, we're not wondering. Let's get this absolutely clear. Nobody gives a flying fuck about you. If you're wondering, was that your justification? No, we're not. But here we are listening to him. Yeah? If he were dead, I wouldn't have to listen to this boring fart sniffer shite, would I? So is there any wonder? No, if he weren't here, I wouldn't have to listen to it. If I'm wondering, we're not wondering. Satellites, what, measured with an altitude from surface level, sea level, perpendicular to a plane? Yeah, your belief in a satellite in an orbital motion like the rockets is derived from a flat plane measurement that gives you R if you want to infer they're in an orbit. In reality, their height is measured from sea level. Was I wondering about it? No, I hadn't asked.
Well, he can't help. Let me just give him a shot. He's wondering. He's asking us if we're wondering.
What kind of shot? Like the kind of shot you take a dying old dog to get in the head behind the sheds? That kind of shot. Yeah? Like a festering old marley dog. You take it and go bang! Both barrels and put it out his misery. Is that the kind of shot I should give him?
Well, he says chatting with a bunch of people who think the Earth is flat. No, we know it's flat via measurement. And he said knowing the very idea is absurd. It's not an idea. See, Nathan, I'm trying to set him in tune because I don't want to see the guy go out like that. So I'm trying to set him in tune. It's measured that way. It's not an idea. It's not a belief. It's a measurement.
Ask him, if you want to engage with him in this regard, what the altitude of the satellite is. What's its altitude? And then that's the end of the discussion. Measured from sea level, then. So we'll need a flat Earth measurement of an average of a sea level, and we'll need a perpendicular measurement in the vertical axis. So Earth's measured flat, then? Yeah, it is. Nobody was asking Phil for his opinion on the matter. His opinion's inconsequential. He'll literally be dead soon. So who gives a shit what Phil has to say about perpendicular altitude measurements? Phil's not the arbiter of altitude. He's not measuring anything from sea level. He didn't derive sea level as a concept. He didn't measure Earth flat to come up with the average. So, Phil, you don't have any bearing on this. So, literally, it wouldn't matter if you were dead, would it? Literally.
Well, he says he can't help being an educator. It's in his DNA.
Really? Nobody asked him for it. He's not being paid. We're not some government body seeking to employ him. He's just a dying old man. Nobody asked him for his opinion. He's just trying to justify his worth, isn't he? So I'm correct. So what Phil's really doing is justifying his existence as it nears its end. Well, you're an educator. Nobody's asking you for that anymore, though, are they, Phil? Nobody needs you to justify what altitude is when they're not asking you for anything. We don't want to interact with you. We haven't asked for your company. We find you unpleasant. But here you are telling us because you need to justify that you're the educator. Just hurry up and die.
Well, the thing is, he uses an analogy. It's like listening to someone singing who constantly messes up a note, which makes me flinch. See, what's making him flinch is not that we're out of tune, it's that he's out of tune. And that's making him flinch at the ripe old age of whatever.
Yeah, pure projection. You're flinching while you insult us. Now, if you were in front of me, you'd be flinching because you'd be worried I'd break your nose. Because you're insulting us by metaphor. Out of tune, you say? No, sorry, does the notes of altitude somehow not work in accord with your belief? Nobody cares how in accordance with your belief altitude from surface level measured flat with sea level is. Nobody asked you. Don't you get it, you stupid old man? It's just insulting. Like I say, this is what I just described at the beginning or the top of the show. Right? These people are deeply unpleasant. Why would you want to be around this person? He's telling you you're out of tune by metaphor. So deep down, not even deep down, just below surface level by metaphor, he wants to insult you. Say, you are ignorant, I am superior, I will educate you. Fuck off, you stupid old twat. Who the fuck do you think you are? Yeah? That's what you get. That's why you're twitching. Because in reality, you're insulting somebody who hasn't asked for your company. But the first thing you do is not build rapport with them. It's tell them that they're wrong with an insult by metaphor. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. These people aren't pleasant to be around. Yeah, and in person, they get a slap. That's a metaphor. This is that slap by metaphor. Piss off. Nobody's asking you for anything. You think the world and its flat measurements cares about what you think or say about it? It doesn't. It's unaffected in its perpendicular altitude for your satellites. You saying you just don't understand, I can't bear to hear people out of tune, then piss off! Switch channel then, Dumbo! Oh, no, I've got to interject myself into these lives and tell them how out of tune they are. This person's in the shower singing. They didn't need you in their bathroom. It's quite creepy that you're here.
Remember in the movie Seven, John Doe has the upper hand. See, that's the problem. Right now, we have the upper hand because you can't get around the measurements. That's how the globe was created. So we have the upper hand. We're John Doe.
Yeah, well, someone's head's going to end up in a box. And it ain't mine. With that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980, actually, I'm going to round out the show. A massive thank you to everyone, both members and the live public stream, for making today's live show possible. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, hitting me up on PayPal, joining as a Patreon, all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley. There will be no after show to follow, but I will see you all in the next video.
But when you measure it flat, it contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If Earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken. We just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and vegs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.